my parents are actually Catholic, and that's what I grew up with. We would go to church on Sunday, and we would go to catechism, and during the summer, we'd go do vacation Bible school. And we were pretty religious, right? And of course, in Catholicism, part of the doctrine is the Trinity. So, that's what we were taught. In Catholicism, there is something called the Rosary, where they pray to Mary and the saints and stuff like that. So, but for me personally, like when I would pray to God, because that's part of the fitra, that's part of our just innate nature. We were studying Islam in my world history class. And I was only 15, and we were studying about the Middle East. And in our book, it actually said Allah is a moon god. So I thought, what? Because my mom, as an Arab Christian, would say, Ya Allah. And I'm like, that's totally not true. So there was one Egyptian boy in my class, and he was correcting the teacher about the misconceptions and the wrong things that the curriculum was saying about Islam. So it was like the last class of the day, and he kept correcting the teacher, and the teacher was nice, he let him. So the kids were kind of making fun of him, so they're just like, be quiet, we don't care, this kind of attitude. That's what really sparked like interest inside me. Like, what is it about Islam that makes him so confident in the deen, so confident in the religion with yaqeen? So I asked his mom for a copy of the Qur'an, the translation of the Qur'an in English. I went to her house and she gave me the translation, and it was time for Maghrib. And so she said, excuse me, we need to pray. So I saw them pray. I thought it was so beautiful. And that was the first time I ever heard the Qur'an being recited. And I thought it was so beautiful. So I saw them praying, and I never saw anything like that, subhanAllah. But then as I saw them prostrating to the ground, making sujood, I remembered in the Bible where it says Jesus, Isa, fell on his face in prostration. So he gave me a prayer outfit, and I was so happy. So I came home, I read the translation of the Qur'an, and I couldn't put it down. I wasn't even looking for, Islam, right? But I knew that this was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the things I found that was so intriguing was just how come nobody told me about this religion? I was very young. So after I started reading the Qur'an, and I went outside and I made dua, and I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me, because I had been going through a very hard time with my family. I started talking to my family about Islam, and at first they thought it was just a phase, right? But they realized that I was serious about Islam. They actually called the lady who had given me da'wah and told her, stop talking to my daughter, you're confusing her. So my dad basically would come and search my room every day and take my Qur'an, take my hijab for salah, and that would hurt so much. So I used to hide my Qur'an in the air conditioning fan. My mom would cook pork on purpose and not tell me there was pork in there. It was very hard. I had a lot of persecution from my family with my belief. My mom would make me go to church and go and talk it to the priest, and because she thought I was confused. But I would ask the priest the question, about Islam, and he would say, just believe. I still care about my parents, but it was so hard. I would just cry and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help me and to make things easier for me, and to help me, to make me strong on the deen and to guide me. So my friend's dad told me, basically, you have to listen to your mom, you have to listen to your parent. And so I said to myself, I'm gonna hide my Islam for now. Inshallah, when I get older, I'm going to practice Islam publicly and be very, strong. So for a few years, I hid my Islam. As a new Muslim, one of the hardest things is establishing the prayer, right? And so after 9/11, I actually started wearing hijab. I started being consistent with my salah, alhamdulillah, and I didn't care anymore what anybody said about. I didn't care. When I started wearing hijab, it was very hard. One time, my mom, she tried to pull it off when we were in the car and we were picking up my sister, and she didn't want the parent of the child seeing me wearing hijab. I went to my sister's graduation from high school. I think I was 20 years old, and that was the last time I saw my grandpa. Because after they saw me wearing my hijab and knowing that I was Muslim, because they live in a different state, so they came for my sister's graduation. He doesn't want anything to do with me. My grandma, I haven't seen. She saw me one time when my son was a baby. That hurt so much too, because it's like, this is your grandparent. These were people who you knew since you were a baby, and just to cut somebody off just because they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam, sorry.